some highly delicate material. We all know of obsidian. So we can distinguish between antler. Okay, we look at it and say, oh, that's an antler type of flake. And then there's this debate now, is that was only done with direct percussion. There weren't any large billets. Smaller billets wouldn't do it. I disagree. I think those things that we're seeing as cylinders of various sizes, all the way up to larger ones that are in the Blackwater Draw, going back to Clovis time, were just used in a different manner to produce the energy. As I've demonstrated, you take the handle off of the back of this and you put leather around it, and now you still have that full forward force and heaviness in the front that makes using the larger billets workable. Like with the Blackwater Draw, it was made from Mastodon ivory, which we don't have to compare things to. But anyone telling you that it doesn't matter whether you're using this material or that material, that's fallacy. We know just even between using deer and moose, or deer and elk, and the different types, they have a difference to those who use them a lot with abo, such as myself. I can easily distinguish and tell the difference between them. I think one of the big issues that I've been dealing with all along and trying to solve for myself, and I'm not trying to convince anybody else, I'm just going to document what I first. This right here we know is very delicate material, the classic turtle shape here. So what flake, and looking at the scarring of this, see how elegant and smooth that is. We don't see the characteristic of something being ripped apart. It's very elegant and smooth. Here's the flake, which is not a Rhode Island flake, but a Texas flake, which is what we want to be able to produce. And then we want to be able to produce those Rhode Island flakes, if need be, thin flakes. So this right here, we see this scar right here was produced with a hard stone. You might ask yourself, a hard stone? That's not the characteristic of hard stone. And that's true, because there's a way to tame the stone. I think what I need to do too is work a little more. I have some pieces that I did Facebook Live a little while ago, reducing this piece down. I left off with this flake right here. Oh no, that's not the one that goes on there. It must have fallen down. This one? No, that one's not it. But anyways, so I left off, stopped where I left off, and I'll just pick back up Raw Kay County. I have this little piece here that still have to straighten out. It's a little bit of a tougher. Sometimes the material that you get out of the same quarry has different properties from stone to stone a lot of times, which is why we see test flakes at the quarries of abo test flakes, and some selected, taken, some left behind. So without further ado, oh, and that big huge flake that I showed you off of that piece of obsidian was taken with that hard hammer stone. But the characteristics that it shows aren't consistent with hard hammer. So I'll just play a little riddle me this, because some people like it, and most people it bothers them. But I ain't going to riddle me this for 3 years. I'll give you the answers here real shortly. of these techniques you can use are like a sweeping, glancing blow. You can also use torquing, like this. Just careful of your eyes on that one. You could also use indirect here if we want to. If I want to get real precise with something, get some of those nice bigger flakes that look like it was done with antler. And you started out with this, wouldn't it be a logical jump to then start going over to wrapping pieces and making hammers and mallets like we see in the record, and that it's a lineage of tools? So, because surely we know that we have those bigger hafted pieces for producing the big stone monoliths and all the other stone working that man was doing, not just little tiny arrowheads he was holding in his hand. So surely those tools were being used in other methods as well. Piece, so I'm leaving a little bit hanging over here just to wear it down naturally. Like this. I'm going to go for this right up front here. Oh, wait a minute. Why don't I share a secret? Shh, don't tell anybody. It's a secret. I won't keep you 3 years to find out the secret, folks. It's called Taming the Stone. Okay. What this is all about is it's about load pressure, load release. That's why you have a difference between different materials, like whether it's a moose antler or elk antler, or so depending on species, they change. compare this platform a little better, you can see right here where it's got this mesa on there. It's overhanging enough on this side, but has that mesa. Now I could just take my antler. Let's try that. Let's just switch from using the tamed hammerstone to just going over here to one of the cylinders. Put it on there like so. I think I'm going to need to go with a little bigger one and just use it as more of an eye. What you can do on the looking at the archaeological representation. Now this one here I've just cut. This is some moose. I just cut it, got it yesterday. So I have this here that I'm going to have to wear down to try to make it more consistent. So until I'm able to do that and utilize this part more, I'm just having to focus more effort on the corner, and then as time goes and I true this, it will also do that. This is also another important part, I believe, as well, with looking at the Blackwater Draw Billet, is when you see the back of that having the wear and from the hide. Well, I think logically for me, some of that wear use, if it was caused by the strap going around it, would also have to do with putting it in a specific position for a long period of time. So as that piece was wearing, then, now with taking into context of it being mastodon ivory, I don't know how much shaping would involve with doing that if there was one particular overhanging piece or something that was eventually wore off, because as we know, those two flakes there, took that right in there. This one here was a little bit more of a shock, but this one here wasn't. That one went nice. I'm gonna go back to my moose. But here was the contact here, and it took all this out right through there. A nice one right through there. Clean that part out. Working on this back end right now, thinning that down. Here's what we got so far. Still have a tiny bit of cortex there in the center. This side's all cleared except for this part on the front. You also notice when you're doing this method, you flip it over, you can use this side for trimming, braiding. I had a little bit of a, under this piece right here, there was a little bit of this cortex that shot underneath, so that was a flaw that just got uncovered. It looks like it's just going to be right here at the tip that I missed, so hopefully that's all we're going to have of that. So you can see where that's revealing itself. Last flake there, taken with that. Over on the wall. He just went over the side. Seen what I was doing, thought, oh, wait a minute, get out of here. Okay. Back to this here. So I'm going to need to get a couple, reach in, get some thinning flakes here going on again. Was right here, across here, took part of, got that piece right out the, put it back together again here. Oh shoot. Well anyways, it went right here, through here. Okay, so now I'll go right in front of it over here, take this piece. Some of that there. I'm going to do a real gentle on the front here because it just thins out right there. was a nice thinner flake. So here's where we're at so far. I think I may be stopping on this one for right now. Just start picking up another piece. And this one here I do want to finish, and it's the one that I started earlier with the first ever demonstration. Actually, it's the other one that I retired. It was one I had when I was a kid. I put that aside, but for a large part of this reduction is with that tool. I've been playing around with different woods. You can see here. I'll take a few fillet flakes with wood as well. Demonstrate here. Putting this here. In this method, you may very well want to put a piece of leather behind it to help prevent that bipolar. So I can make, if you've just seen where you can make a hard stone appear not to be a hard stone but something else, I mean, isn't this all pointing to how much the archaeologists and the flake chasers and all them are missing out on the benefits that flint knappers can bring to the table? Instead of ridiculing them and calling 12,000 of them stupid. I think that was stupid. Maybe, just maybe, we're the ones with the answers to the questions that you have. I presented this new method here, taking that antler tine, putting insert tools into that doesn't solve the problem of a support problem that has been the problem all along, supposedly. Alright. I don't think it's just one thing again. I think that there's more than way to come to that conclusion. Why ridicule people for using jigs when jigs is mentioned in old early writings of apparatus and trees drawing flutes? I think man did it by hand and he did it by jigs. Given how big of a cultural part that was, if I got disabled in part of the tribe, I'm not wanting to give that up and stop flint knapping. No, I'll find another way to do it. Real nice thin flake there. Try taking this one here. And this is the point where I want to start lining my flakes up, going from tip to base in this direction, and in this direction, base to tip going in this direction. So I'm going to probably hold off on this point now, and don't worry, we'll finish it up or break it for all of you to see. But it's getting there. So leave this for right now. Worked on it a little bit more. You can see on this side over here, I need to take one across here. So we have a little bit of thinning still to do. And finish that up. And then now I'm going to go ahead and go on to working on another piece for a little bit. So let's go ahead and switch it up to obsidian here. Take our hard hammer, used in a new way.